There's so much we can talk about in this episode.
I gave it the highest score out of all of us, a 23 out of 25, which is a 92%. There are a few things that I didn't find perfect about this
Not
episode.
Many.
No.
Not many.
It's very enjoyable.
It just felt like a
moves
movie.
Along.
Yep.
Yeah. And like we got more into the dynamic of Obi and Leia, and we get more lore. We're getting hints of all the previous travelers. We get Tala. We get her showing that tunnel, but like the previous travelers and the Jedi and Quinlan, his name was on the wall. Quinlan Ball.
So first time in live action, right?
Well, the mention of him.
Okay.
Well, no. He's in Phantom Menace.
Okay. Yeah.
He's in the background.
Yeah, that background guy that George Lucas decided to write in later. Yeah, something I also want to say is what really touched me, and I want to ask if you guys saw the same thing. Obi-Wan basically tells Leia, like, hey, I'm going to do all the talking. Obviously, he doesn't know how to lie or basically talk to people.
Yeah.
So goes up. He used to have that charm, but it's been like 10 years and just isn't what he used to be. Leia takes control in a very Leia way and just crushes it.
Almost
the situation.
too good.
It was so good.
She did a great job. But when the stormtroopers come onto the ship and they start talking, Obi-Wan jumps into a situation because, again, he calls her, well, what does he call her? Like
Luma?
He calls her Luma or Leia instead of Luma. And he goes in and they're like, well, you said her name was Luma. And he responds by saying, he can't really lie. So he shares the truth to a degree. He's like, well, it's her mother's name. And then goes down, sells the truth, and shows pain by saying, basically when I look at her, I see her mother. And all of that. And you feel the realness and the pain in what he's saying.
And how he says, like, or she asks if he's really her father. And she's like, I wish I was.
Oh. And then we talk about Obi-Wan's family.
Yeah, we get little insights into Obi-Wan, and I'm like, holy crap,
That's why I gave it a 5 in
Spill
Immersive Universe. Getting to hear anything about Obi-Wan's life before the Jedi is so fascinating. And even when he was like, I think I had a brother, like I thought of Anakin. But I can't remember him because then he saw him in the desert. Okay, the first time he sees him in the desert, I was like, is that Qui-Gon? Like
I didn't know who it was either.
I couldn't figure it out at first.
I paused it and walked up to the screen and I was like, that's you. That's you, Hayden.
That's you.
It's totally Hayden, and it was
I
really
want to
cool.
see another. I hope we get to see more of Hayden Christensen, like flashbacks
That
or
was
like
cool.
That was
out
so
of Vader
cool.
costume.
Yeah.
That was so cool. I will say too that for me, I think I'm overthinking that whole scene too, but that legitimately sent shivers down my spine because
it was cryptic.
I don't know if you guys have seen Passion of the Christ, but I got Satan vibes from that, where
I could see that.
Very pale, the cloaks, the pissed off look, and it kind of looks almost like modern day
It does
Israel.
look like they did something to his eyebrows or something.
Yeah, there's something there, and you see it, and it's just like, oh, there's like this haunting spirit that's following Obi-Wan around, and it's close. And
he could never put a face to it, but now that he knows that Anakin's alive, now he can't like avoid it.
Yeah. Oh. It is cryptic. I think it is haunting. Like, I think that's the element to go for. It's not like, oh, it's his brother. Welcome. Yeah, he misses the vision. No, I think that was a very cryptic, haunting vision,
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we look at it too, and Obi-Wan's you realize how detached he is from the Force in this episode, where he gets, picked up by Vader. He's clearly not protecting himself with the Force anymore. He is clearly living in fear. I remember he gets his lightsaber out and he's going to fight Darth Vader. We're like, oh, this is going to go down.
And then he puts it away and runs it. Yeah, and I was like, that would be me too.
I know. I was like, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
the way that Vader pops out from the dark and just like really surprises him. Like, Vader is the scariest he's ever been in this episode. And that just, Oh my gosh, bone chilling.
Imagine if he didn't have the light up buttons in the belt.
I know.
Like,
I love that
revealing
too,
it.
though, like how you could
Yeah.
see him coming based on how his suit lights up. But
Also, did you know? I didn't know this at first. That it was James Earl Jones that reprised his role as the voice actor. I didn't know that, and I didn't know that they also used his voice and Hayden's voice for when Obi-Wan asks him, he's like, "What have you become?" He's like, "I am what you made me."
really, they mixed them both
Yeah, they used
together?
both voices for that line.
Wow.
I heard something else, but maybe I was just I haven't done my research on it, but I thought they like pieced together and they pieced together the words and they formed the script from James Earl Jones's voice. Not that he wasn't participating in it, but I feel like they pieced together older things too and like artificially made that sentence, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
I don't know. That's what I read.
It's cool though. Like
yeah.
it sounded cool. It was a really cool meeting. It was, just like that suspenseful violence that we've all been wanting in a Star Wars
I was caught
series.
off guard. Yeah, like think about it. The dad gets taken, so Vader walks. Take us through that
Pull
scene,
him out.
Amanda.
Oh yeah. So we have Obi-Wan led by Tarla and Leia in that kind of hidden underground, or not necessarily, but it's like an underground railroad for Jedi to escape through. And you see all of the writings on the wall of all of the people that have passed through. And that was a great moment. But then something changes and everyone can feel it. And they look outside and the Inquisitors are there and you hear Vader's breathing. And he walks through the town knowing that Obi-Wan is somewhere and trying to draw him out by immediately force choking someone, like a bystander. And then the son is freaking out because his father is being choked and he just snaps his neck immediately.
I wasn't ready for that.
That was one of the best moments for me. I know that makes me kind of a sadistic person, but I was like,
scary actually.
we got death and violence. Like, this is what we're
taking the reign as the dark one of the group over Christian.
Yeah, and then you see the wife come out to like mourn her, and then he takes someone else and starts dragging them behind, like, and then there's that moment where he like turns and he like knows, he just
fast
knows.
turns.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, that's freaky.
Oh, for me, that scene, like, he literally just ended a husband and a son for that wife in seconds and didn't even glance. And then he dragged someone else, and I assume she died because everyone's like going to pick her up out of the street like a dead animal or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, this is so much scarier than Rogue One.
I think the coolest thing for me, though, that I loved was him igniting the ground, like those, the gunpowder, whatever it was that he ignited, and just like dragging Obi through it. And it's like, what a creative, violent way to go about this.
I saw someone on Twitter call out the parallel too of what is it? No, it's Return of the Jedi when Luke is battling Vader again and how he like really swings at him a couple times, like
bang,
chop,
bang, bang.
and that's what you
And then
see Vader do that too, like in this like. And also just fighting with one hand while Obi-Wan is like just trying to hold on with two.
Showing that demonstration of, and someone brought that up today. Remember on episode 3 how they're both kind of waving their lightsabers in front of each other? Someone said that, hey, well, that was Anakin demonstrating to Obi-Wan, I know all of your moves. Yeah. This is kind of him demonstrating, I can beat you with one arm behind my back. Yeah. Like, wow. I mean, this was...
And the thing is like, Vader could have still very easily killed Obi-Wan in that moment. Yeah. He let him get away.
I was expecting him to walk through that fire.
I know. Like, he could have very easily stopped the droid from taking him away.
Oh, he'll get him another time. He's like, you know what?
But then,
we got 3 more episodes to go. I'm gonna make
he's
this
like
last.
waited 10 years to finally get him. He finally is.
And then he's like, "Oh, fire! Can't do that."
I think part of the enjoyment is just toying with him. You know,
force blow it out. You could have, like, you literally picked up Obi-Wan a second ago. You could pick up the droid.
Yeah, bring it back to you. And then the fact that he sent a stormtrooper, he's like, "Bring him to me."
Yeah. It's like that was kind of weird.
But I guess it's kind of a power move. It's like, I don't even have to pick you up.
Yeah, I see it as he's sending a message.
Bring him to me.
And he's toying with him He, likes to have fun.
Okay. All right.
I love that this episode ends with such a intense cliffhanger too. Like it's right when we see that Leia makes it to the end of the tunnel, but Reva has already beaten her there and has killed the pilot that's supposed to save her. So she runs back in the tunnel, and we're left off with Obi-Wan lying on the ground, like still singed, and Tarla is telling them they need to get to a different planet. So
Tala, telling them, get to Jabim.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was overall, a really good episode. Did either of you have a problem with how Reva was able to just cut off Leia and kind of get around? Because I know some folks were saying, that was convenient how she found the end before Leia was able to get through the tunnel system and how she knew where the exit was. For me, I've seen crazier things in life, in my real life, so I'm not that far of a stretch of the imagination for her to be able to get there. But I don't know. What did you both think? Did that take you out of it?
No.
I get it. It's in similar ways that where we're like, well, Vader could have just still killed him if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's Star Wars.
It's
not bothering me.
I was more so, I think it was more of a stretch how she found the hidden tunnels or whatnot. I don't know. I feel like that was
a really cool scene. I loved when she like opened that in and she kind of hesitates for a second and like kind of jumps out with that expectation. I think Moses Ingram has done a great job embodying Reva and making me feel that rage. There's a really interesting point when she's looking in that tunnel and reading all of the like inscriptions, and she sees the Jedi symbol, and I was reading her face and she looked really sad at first, like almost like a longing, but then she like expresses anger and like, I can't believe they got away or something like that. So
yeah.
I'm really excited to see what happens to her character.
Yeah.
Me too. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really excited just to see the next 3 episodes, but I did not give it a perfect score because I will tell you what.
What took it down for you, Brody?
Well, the music.
The
music.
Oh,
I
allow
thought the
me
music was
to.
really great.
It was the best it's been.
What?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
The music. Oh my gosh. So first off, if there was ever an episode to bring back at least somewhat honor the Imperial March.
Oh my gosh.
It was this one.
Oh
and secondly,
my
and no,
gosh.
but they did with her little crappy remix for when Reva walks by. Like,
No, they
hated
did
it.
it for Vader.
They
You
didn't
gotta,
play-
you
for
gotta
Imperial-
re-listen to it. They'll like hit the notes and then it goes in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
They started off with it. I
It's
thought
a little-
that was a highlight for
I
me.
did not like the music. It's like not even notable at all. No, you're kidding me.
I definitely noticed it. I wrote down like the haunting slow music right before Obi-Wan sees the vision of Anakin was like really thrilling and really built up that moment well for me.
I already know my hot take's gonna get voted down later this episode. I better get your guys' buy-in
What's
quick.
new?
I know it's hey, it's better. Last time I got a milk toast without even getting anything out of this. So I think this time I'll at least ruffle some feathers. No, I didn't like the music. No, and in fact, this is of any piece of live action Star Wars content, this is the worst music I've ever heard.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's
I am
my
so
hot take.
confused.
That's of any piece of live action. Think of every movie. There's always one iconic song you get out of each piece. Think about Boba Fett. Think of Mandalorian with Ludwig Goransson. Anything they've done, always something iconic. So far, there's 3 more to go, but we're 50% of the way through, and there's not been anything memorable. So
For you.
time's a ticking, Natalie Holt. I'm just saying.
I would say at the end of what was it, episode 2 when we see naked Vader in the back to tank and like they play like that menacing theme, it's different, and I think they do well expanding upon that menacing theme in this episode, and we get we get kind of a theme for Mapuzo, the mining planet, and like the new location. I thought the music was the most different it's been for this series, especially in episode 3, but also I feel like it was very different and not like we all know, like the tribalistic stuff with
Yeah.
Mandalorian, Boba Fett, that was different and whatnot. This was different in a different way, but I really noticed the music with this one. That was one of the most noticeable changes for me.
Yeah.
In this episode, and I thought it did pretty well, capturing kind of like that suspense, thriller, and this kind of new theme for Vader. But it starts off, I think, with similar notes of the Imperial March.
Well, it's got 2.5 out of 5 stars for me, which is one of the lowest ratings I've ever given anything in Star Wars.
Wow.
Wow.
I know. Like I borderline dislike it.
Whoa.
I know. I don't full on dislike it, but I don't like it.
That's such a strong stance.
For
It is?
me, yeah. I mean, not as strong as Amanda full on giving ones across the board for Phantom Menace, but like that's I still think that's the hardest any of us have swung
I gave the story a 1.5.
You did.
So it's not just ones.
It was pretty bad. But besides that, everything else for me is pretty good. The characters are 4.2 stars, 4.8 stars for immersive universe, 5 stars for technical aspects, and 3.8 stars for the story.
So what made you? I also agreed. I love the technical aspects. I gave it a perfect 5. I want to hear why you thought that was the strongest part.
Oh my goodness! Just again, like, what's that rat creature that Zach Braff from Scrubs played?
I don't know. Freck. Yeah.
The costume design was amazing. I love
yeah.
how dirty the stormtroopers looked.
I love how
and
nonchalant the stormtroopers were with him. Like, thanks, Frack. Or, hey, Frack.
Yeah, I know, me too. Like, I don't know, and it was cool to see like the new ships and everything that were made, and this just doesn't feel like a TV budget. When that stormtrooper falls through those lasers and he gets cut in half, I'm like, okay, this is definitely like a league beyond.
I love that cool quick shot that Obi-Wan had. Too.
Yeah.
He's been practicing that.
Yeah, since like the last episode where he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Now he's over
Close
here.
range.
Yeah, it was a lot closer.
Yeah, he's just wrecking people.
Oh, I also wanted to call out Leia when they're walking in the desert.
Yes.
She's just the cutest thing ever, but her braids have sort of fallen out.
Oh,
and one braid is like in a perfect position to be a Padawan braid. And I was like, oh,
I missed
so
that.
Cute. Bring it back.
I thought you were going to mention, here, I got to pull this up and quote this correctly. I wrote it down because it was just funny and shocking. When she's talking, like maybe they're good or whatever, he's like, people are not all good, Leia.
Yeah.
Like he just,
He does.
I'm like, oh, okay, man. Jeez. She's just a girl.
I know, she was like, dang, okay. I'm just a child.
I know.
That was funny.
But I love seeing, like, that's where we're at with Obi-Wan now. This
He's
fearful,
super
distrustful. He's very siloed off. So different than where we left him with episode 3. And what I love about this episode 2 is I feel like it gave for me, like seeing episode 4 in A New Hope, seeing that for what as a kid, the boring battle between Obi-Wan and Vader. And especially, you're seeing like, oh, the way things left on Mustafar, and like, this is how you guys greet each other. Like, this fight that we saw today was the fight it should have been. And but it also really did a lot of great service for that fight in A New Hope, where, oh, well, of course they're not doing all these backflips and things now because they're older. Obi-Wan clearly can't even fight as well now because, like, if you stop,
training all the time,
training a lot.
Fighting in a war.
Yeah, you stop running marathons. You take off 10 years. You're not running a marathon tomorrow, and you're gonna be great. So you see all of that, and then the biggest thing too, what I love is the Force is right now not his ally. He's getting picked up like a rag doll and everything. He's not using the Force. It strained him just to stop Leia from falling to her death, and then, he's probably going to connect with Qui-Gon and reconnect with the Force again. But what's so great is when you go back to that fight now in A New Hope, he knows he's not going to beat Vader in hand-to-hand combat, but this time around, the Force is his ally, and he says, if you strike me down, I'll become so much more powerful than you could possibly imagine. And because of this, there's so much more gravity saying, oh, because that one time Vader got the best of you because you were fearful. You weren't trusting in the Force. You weren't living in the light. So It added a lot of great weight behind that fight scene now and made it for me so much more worth watching.
Yeah, and it was really cool to see that. I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping for more of the choreographed prequel fighting because we have Hayden, we have Ewan McGregor, but I'm thinking about it too, like it's got to be hard to do stuff in a Vader costume.
Oh yeah.
But I would still hope to see something where we take it up a notch, getting it closer to like that fast-paced choreography. But I understand, like, you're not gonna come right out the gate with that, you know, in episode 3. But
I think we're still going to see another meetup.
yeah, there definitely should be. For technical aspects, though, I did want to mention, like, it looked great, and it was definitely, like, I loved the mining planet as well, but I was kind of taken aback in his castle. It did feel a little not high budget when it was like Vader in the throne room. It did seem more like
chair.
He's sitting in a chair with a green screen, or like someone pasted that, you know, like Mustafar red graphic behind. That did I was kind of like disappointed. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
come on. I mean, you have this grand
You know what
entrance.
that reminded me of, though,
What?
was Padme's ruminations.
Really?
When she looks out into like Coruscant, like in that panoramic view, like
gotcha.
that was the parallel I saw immediately.
Interesting. I didn't get that, but yeah, like it's cool to like have that. But then also, I get why, like, it was probably like good quality in terms of the suspense thriller aspect, but the shaking of the camera at night, and it was like moving with Obi and Vader, and like I get the effect that they were going for, but it was like too much shaking for me personally. It felt like I was in a Bourne Identity movie, or like I was thinking, like, can they not get the guy a gimbal or something? Can they just like smooth it out? But I get what they were going for, but that
I can't
kind of
stand shaky camera stuff.
that kind of like took it down where I couldn't give the technical aspects like that perfect score for me.
Wow, that is really nitpicky, Christian.
It kind of took me
The
out of it.
videographer of one scene.
No hate,
ruined
no
the whole
shame.
thing.
Wow.
No hate on it.
Well, yeah. Okay. Good to know. Christian's really, really technical with the technical aspects.
Well, just, you know, on this one I was thinking about it. But the I am curious though. What was our highest ranking category?
Well,
for
I
this
also
one?
want to say, looking at the comments here, it looks like we have a comment from Haley who also agrees that she says, I also thought the fight was disappointing. So
Thank you, Haley.
let us know, Haley, why was the fight disappointing to you? Because Amanda, I loved it.
I loved it. I knew we would have Obi-Wan get away and that they will still come back. And I think that next fight is going to be the bigger
Lit.
one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Still
am
saying it's
glad
gonna be on
though, like,
Mustafar.
this was a good tease.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I ate it up, you know?
Oh yeah.
I loved him lighting that fire. Like,
And like
I never-
making him suffer.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see Vader use his saber as a match
Yeah.
to light Obi-Wan on fire.
Yeah, insanity. So still wish he wouldn't have let him go. But you asked a second ago what was our highest ranked area, and it was indeed the technical aspects, followed by the immersive universe.
I love that we're getting so many new planets in this series.
Yeah.
Because like I feel some of the stories we've been told are planets that we see like over and over and over again. And it sounds like even the next place that they're going to, what was the planet called?
Jabeam.
Jabeam. That's a
I
new
hope
planet,
we
right?
see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's talked about or at least mentioned before, but I don't think that we've ever seen it on screen, or I don't know of any video games either that do it.
Yeah. Is there anything you still want to see Vader do that he hasn't done already? Is there anything on your, like, if you had a wish list of Vader things to do? For me, it would be like, I would love to see him walk into a room full of Jedi. Just like he did in Rogue One, except again, Jedi, not rebels, and just go ham. That would be...
I would love to see him throw his saber.
Yeah, that's a good
Saber
one.
throw and like
Typical
return.
Vader fashion. I think
Jim Beam.
I said comment again, Jim Beam. Weird planet name.
comment my wife. She's texting me. She's not on the chat, but she was like, mention She's like, mention my comment. And I was like looking back. She did think Obi was a little too harsh on Leia as well. When
I
he was
know.
like, not all people are good, Leia. Like, whatever. But
he's not used to interacting with small
I know,
children.
yeah.
And I noticed that in episode 2 as well when she was like, Lola's broken. He was like, good.
yeah.
And then he was like, oh, tell me how she broke
Yeah.
it. And he was like, he realized he was being a little too harsh on
Children,
her.
they can be trying. For all you parents out there, this is a place of encouragement. It's okay. But, Brody, to get back to your question, I would, yes, agree
Saber
with
throw.
Amanda. Saber throw. I want more of that fast-paced, high-action saber action from Vader. Kind of like we did get a taste of that in Rogue One. Like he was energetic,
Zoom,
fast-paced
zoom,
with
zoom.
that. Like,
yeah.
and now that we have Hayden, maybe I've set the bar or put my expectations way too high for that. But like Hayden and Ewan McGregor, I want that fight. I want to see a high-paced Vader.
Well, you know Hayden's not in the suit.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Not all the time.
Maybe
they,
not
they
all
got,
the time.
They got like
no.
a 6. They got like a.
I mean,
7
he
foot guy, like 6'7" guy or something to be in the suit.
no, he trained. He
tall
trained
guy.
how to fight in it.
He's a tall guy.
He's not a short actor.
Alright, okay. All I'll say is this too. I heard there was someone else in the suit, but
You
I'll-
also heard that it was TV7 or whatever.
it was
Hearing a lot.
TV9. We saw that. We
Where
we
did I
saw that.
both
No,
saw
I
it.
didn't see it.
I
You
didn't
just
see
told
it.
us that.
Oh,
I
we
believe
all
you.
saw the
So,
Disney.
You
I
were my
did
brother,
not see-
Brody.
That's what you saw.
You were supposed to give us the ratings, not lie about them. Oh, anyway.
What do you want to see Vader
Yeah.
do, man?
I just said it. I want to see him slaughter a bunch of Jedi. I've always thought that would be like take a bunch of like Jedi Knights or people that look, moderately powerful.
Yeah.
And really,
It's hard because there isn't like a large group of them anywhere.
you could still find pockets of.
You have to go to like a good concert, find all the Jedi that they're like their favorite artist, and they're all gonna be there in the mosh pit, and then Vader will.
Yeah. I don't know. That'd be cool. But oh look, there's your comment.
Hey,
There you.
welcome.
Welcome. Well, anyway, I also think that would be cool, but I don't know. It'd be cool to see.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. Do you think that I've sort of picked up on this, and this maybe is my headcanon, but do you guys think that Leia is showing her Force sensitivity by picking up on Obi-Wan's emotional story? The way that she looks at him and reads him and has that ability to read other people is maybe what I'm attributing to her Force sensitivity, just showing up in a different way.
I was thinking more so about when she was asking him about the Force, in the shipping barge. At first, I was thinking Obi-Wan was just gonna discredit we don't have time to talk about this right now. But I'm glad he kind of paused and he kind of readjusted. She's a Skywalker too. I need to use this moment to help teach about the Force in a positive light.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was really cool. And I was just thinking about Vader or Leia being attuned to the Force, but on a different scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The way that she's always picking up, I know you're hiding something from me.
Yeah, she would be a great student, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Well, with all that to be said, we gave this episode an 85.2%.
That's a top-notch score.
That is really, really high.
That's
probably
critically
that's
acclaimed.
higher than a lot of the movies,
Of any of the episodes of the shows we've ranked to this point.
which has
this-
only been Book of Boba Fett and season 1 of Bad Batch. So not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot, but of all of those pieces of content, this ranks number 1 of any individual episodes. recorded.
That
And it's
seems pretty
Yeah, it's
accurate.
really great. And it's not just because of the last 20 minutes of the cool thriller of Vader, even though that could take a bunch of
Yeah.
that could take all the scores.
Well, for me, so
But
much of it
was
is the
whole
story.
episode. Yeah,
Mhm.
the story was good. The
Yeah.
progress, we get Tala
Mhm.
as a new character, and the concept of shuttling these Jedi through the tunnel and the new planet.
Yeah.
And we
The whole
also
episode
see
was
how the planet, we kind of hear them, Obi-Wan telling Leia what this planet was used for. There used to be
Yeah.
cities or towns here and people lived here. And then you just kind of see where the Empire has taken over. So you get to hear about that change.
Had
Yeah.
Obi been there before in like the Clone Wars or
Yeah,
anything?
he had.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
he had a
remember.
platoon
Because he
there,
was
yeah.
talking about it. I was like, there's probably an episode where he was here
It's
before.
either a comic or a book, but yeah, he had.
Because that would make sense. Just the way he was talking about it. Like, you could tell there was this history.
It's sad for him, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's sad to see sad Obi-Wan. You just feel
know.
it. You just feel for
Even
him.
that, even Tala says something like, what does she say? Like, I can't imagine Obi-Wan doing wrong or something like that.
Yeah,
He was
something
like,
like that.
I just go by Ben nowadays.
Yeah, it's kind of.
And all of
Let
those
it
like
go.
expectations that like even of people he didn't know had high expectations for
Yeah.
him, and he's still living with that failure.
That guilt.
Yeah,
That weight.
I
that
love when
burden.
Star Wars is failure.
it was always weird for me to see Obi-Wan, in the prequels versus Obi-Wan in the sequels being a bit more serious, not as like charismatic and charming. And
But I
then
think
you
this
see
is
this,
yeah,
you're like, oh, this
good
is that
middle
bridge.
ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is. He goes.
Even his voice again,
Yep.
like he embodied it so perfectly.
It
True.
is a treat to see him.
It is everything I was hoping it would be.
Well, Christian and I gave it an 81.2%. Christian gave it an 82.4. If it weren't for Amanda's 92%, this would not be the top episode of all the shows. But Amanda, you did what you had to do. You brought it up there. It now lives in the top spot for the time being until we see next week's episode of Obi-Wan and see what that does.
Yep.
But
Oh, yeah.
any other things we want to add before moving into the hot take segment of the show? No? All right. Well, with that said, Darth Vader, take us away.
Don't be too proud of this podcast you've constructed. The ability to rank content is insignificant next to the power of an exceptional hot take.
It's hot takes time. And I have the hot take of the week. I mean, I don't know if either of you two have one, but I wrote mine in. And mine is, I feel like Ludwig Goransson should have been the composer for Obi-Wan, because by now we would have had something memorable that he would have done.
Oh,
Before Book of Boba Fett even came out, I heard that deep chanting theme and knew out the gate, I'm like, well, Christian obviously loves this, but it was so good. You hear Mandalorian. I remember before Mandalorian came out, you hear that initial theme, you see the end credits, and you're like really, really bought into it. And you can just tell that there's just something missing from this. And look, I'm sure I will also say I've never seen any of Natalie Holt's works. I'm sure she's fantastic. She was obviously given this job, but not everyone's a fit. A lot of people thought Russell Westbrook was going to be a great fit for the Lakers this year. Didn't work out. You got to have the right players on the right teams. And Ludwig Göransson is right now the Michael Jordan of music for Star Wars.
oh.
He's there for me. In
I
fact,
wonder what the comments think of that type of take.
I will tell you, I know it may not be a popular one, but I actually I ranked the music today, and the Mando theme is my 4th favorite, and then Boba Fett's my 5th favorite Star Wars theme ever. So he's making a special place, and I mean, you have the Star Wars main theme, Duel of the Fates, and one other, the Force theme, yeah, Pioneer Sunset, but it's really good stuff. So anyway, that's my hot take. Should have been Ludwig Göransson. Kick Natalie out of here. Give all future jobs to Ludwig
Wow.
going
My
forward.
goodness.
Only Ludwig, exclusively Ludwig Göransson and his team.
I mean, my feathers are ruffled, so it's a good hot take. I disagree.
Why?
Mm.
Why?
Well, you
Besides
have,
the fact that I say you exclusively use one person for
you have a couple of things you said. I recognize Ludwig's talent that he brought. I personally did not care much for the tribalistic stuff. To me, I was like, oh, he's just trying for that really different flavor.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it was like, wow, you're just really trying to be different. And to me, that doesn't always resonate very well. Not that it's not good, but personally, I don't care about the tribalistic stuff. Chanting is different, all right? Now, that is very different. And
Very different. Two totally different categories.
that is not unique to Ludwig, all right? We had that way before. But I would say Natalie is... What's her last name?
Holt.
Natalie Holt. I think she's doing a fine job, especially with the box of
You don't think
Obi-Wan.
Ludwig would do better?
No.
Whoa! What? You're kidding.
He would try to be way too different for a
What?
Vader and Obi-Wan series, and we don't need way
Stop
too
it.
different right now.
What are you talking about?
Okay, I'm here
I'm
to
spouting
interject
truth,
in the
all right?
middle.
And in episode 3, episode 3, I thought the music was a great, a good enough departure, but
Ludwig.
it kept me in the universe.
Oh.
But it was different, and it was cool.
Oh, Christian.
But it wasn't like, let's shoehorn some tribalistic stuff for the first time.
What?
Get used to it.
You only did that in Boba Fett.
No, it's tribalistic in The Mandalorian.
It is.
I'm just saying, man. He's fantastic.
Okay.
I'm not
well,
saying he's not fantastic. I'm saying I'm
he's a
saying
10 out of
Natalie's
10.
fine for this show. Amanda, you go.
So I hear what you're saying. I also hear what you're saying. And I tend to agree more with Christian because
No, I-
I think I have a good defense of this. What was very different about Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett is they truly were their own spin-off shows for Star Wars, whereas this Obi-Wan Kenobi series kind of fits in the lore of Star Wars that we're already like very familiar with. Like it slots itself in.
Yeah.
And I think that gives it an excuse to draw from the familiar themes of what Star Wars has been surrounding it, because it takes footage and like inspiration from all of the trilogies to move it forward, whereas the Mandalorian, that's not needed.
Even
I dare you to try to make that argument not stick, because you're not going to do
I'm just
it.
telling- okay, even if you didn't like, let's stop looking at Ludwig for a second. Even though my whole thing is based on
I know,
Ludwig
yeah.
Goransson.
Yeah.
But look at you were talking about the familiar here. Everything John Williams touched, every single movie had something iconic. From the Phantom Menace with Duel of the Fates, you have Attack of the Clones, where you have Across the Stars, and the Jedi March theme, which is that battle scene where they're going into the Colosseum. Episode 3 of Battle of Heroes. Episode 4, obviously the main titles and the Force theme. Episode 5, you see the Imperial March. Episode 6, the Wookiee celebration, or the Ewok celebration, and titles. You have the Rey's theme in Episode 7. They expand upon that in The Last Jedi. Episode 9 is a culmination of so many amazing things. It's a celebration of all things Star Wars that John Williams has ever touched.
I find your lack of good taste.
All right, well, with
disturbing.
that said, looks like I got, chanting. Good comment from Yen.
Wait, so your hot take then gets
Yes,
I disagree.
I got voted
At least you
down.
ruffled some feathers.
Yeah.
Ruffled some
you
feathers.
did ruffle feathers.
All right. Does anyone else have a hot take for this episode?
I didn't think too much about it. I want to say something about Freck and just being an Imperial sympathizer. I think that's, I don't know. There's something interesting about that, but I don't know how to
Don't have one.
I don't know. Like, it was funny and weird to see
was
an
weird,
Imperial sympathizer.
Especially since he was like a truck
Apologist.
driver. So in my mind, I saw like a truck driver, and then when he had like the Imperial like sign on the back, it was like seeing like a Blue Lives Matter flag like bumper sticker on it. It was what I saw.
Ooh, hot take there.
Yeah, that's how I read it.
Insert hot take.
Yeah.
Hey, Freck. Thanks, Freck.
Yeah, I don't know. It was cool. Not really. There's not really much of a hot take in what you said.
It didn't really sound like Zach Braff at all.
No.
His voice, like, I didn't pick up on it at all.
Oh man, see, I was obsessed with Scrubs growing up.
But you
so-
heard his voice, like you were able to pick up that that was his voice.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I felt like they had like distorted it or something.
All right. Well, do we have any other hot takes then, Amanda? Anything from you?
No.
Any hot takes in the comments?
Yeah. Any hot takes in the comments? Let's see. Nope. It just says that I like to hype
It
things.
says you hype things, Brody.
Yeah,
You do that.
You're not wrong, Haley.
I do hype things a lot. It's kind of my job. All right. Well, with that said, time for the last segment of the show. Charlie, take us away.
This is the way to trivia time!
It's trivia time. And one of you two, Christian, I think you have the question of the week.
I do.
All
I
right.
had one, and then we talked about it a lot in this episode, and I had to change it
Oh, on the fly.
on the fly. The loader droid
Ah,
that helps Tala.
yeah.
What is the name of the loader
Ooh.
droid? Is it A, Red B, B, Ned B, C, Ted C, or B, or D, Bed D?
Betty.
If I get this wrong, I'm going to pull a Corday versus Gourmet. Like,
That's
actually,
fair. That's fair. I'm at least framing the question in the correct way.
I'm gonna go. Oh wait, what type of droid is he again?
A loader droid.
Okay. I'm gonna go A, red B, only because it doesn't say red A, and if I would have, I
Oh,
probably wouldn't have picked it.
I got you.
All right, I'm going to say B just for the sake of disagreeing.
Being different.
Yeah.
For Ned B. It is B.
Oh!
Dang.
I'm catching up to Amanda.
I didn't realize that. You're right, Amanda. I just didn't follow a pattern there.
Well,
So,
that was
my
it was
bad.
good. It threw me off.
I need to make sure I count this point for this week because just to prove I'm catching up to Amanda. Now I'm only 2 points behind now.
That won't last very long.
I'm almost there. It's been a grind, but here we are, folks. Well,
Do we want to take a look at our?
Oh, Haley thought it was definitely C.
yeah, well, she was wrong as well.
It would be cool to have a Ted C droid.
Yeah.
Should we take a look at our bingo cards?
Oh, yes. Let's see. All right, so Christian, he is still 2 away. Obi has not had a drink, and he is not going to find one of his childhood friends.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're going to win this, but you are also only 2 away. If you get
I don't think. Did you get anything
Did I
new
get
this
any
season?
new
Oh, you got
ones?
Mustafar. This
Oh, yeah.
episode.
Yep.
We were on Mustafar.
Yep.
So that was one of the new additions.
Put that on the
yours.
bingo
Yeah.
card.
Yep.
I don't think there was anything else
No.
new that I got with this one.
yeah, you're waiting for Sebulba still, so that's not happening. So
Sebulba, he always wins.
he always wins. All right, and then there's myself. Look at
Oh,
my face.
He
I
finally
jumped
got a couple of
for
them.
more
Hey,
than
got
just
some,
Tamara
man.
Morrison.
Yep. So now
Which
Brody's
ones?
got Vader hunting down Jedi, which technically he did that. And we also had Darth Vader's castle.
Yes, we also added in Yoda because by way of flashbacks and hearing his voice, he
Yeah.
has made his way into the show.
That
was it
counts.
this episode? Like was that when he heard?
Yeah,
Did he
at the
hear
very
him?
beginning when he was meditating.
Because
Yeah.
at first, when I saw you mark that, I thought you were just going from the prequels recap at the very beginning. I was like, what
that
a
doesn't count.
cheap.
You can just check them all off.
It's all there.
I was like, I would have played this much differently then.
Hey man, I would still count it if it's lumped into the runtime. It's there. It happened. It's a part of the show. Technically, with flashbacks or not, it happened. But hey, he actually did make a voice
Though
appearance.
you do have Hello There, and I think Amanda, you have that as well, right?
I think so, yeah.
And this is one thing. Before watching the show, I for sure would have thought they would have had Hello There in the series. But now 3 episodes in, and seeing the state that Obi-Wan is in, I don't see Hello There.
Yeah,
coming
or
into the
another
show.
happy landing.
I don't know about another happy
that one
landing.
I
No, nothing
I don't
happy
agree with that one.
happening at all.
And he might say that to Leia, like sarcastically at best. I do think Hello There's still going to show up.
I think there's a chance, but It's hard to picture it.
No, because I think he's going to get his confidence. He's going to get his swagger back. And imagine if he jumps behind Vader. Like, you snuck up on me, I sneak up on you.
Hello
like
there.
I snuck up on Grievous.
Yeah.
Hello there. I still see it.
He could
Once he
could
gets,
get his
his
confidence
swag
back, and then they play the training montage, and then some 80s epic rock, and then he's just back to slaying. Amanda, your card.
Let's see. We've got... Oh, looks like you're...
Did I get any new ones?
Nothing new. You're still just one away with the Force Ghost.
No, I did get Vader v. Obi-Wan.
Oh, you did.
Yep.
You did.
That one did count.
Which I don't know why I didn't put that one on there. Or I guess we were all... I don't know.
think you're ever going to get the Grand Inquisitor gets his Sith eyes, because technically
I
he's always had
know.
him.
I
Yeah.
think that was...
The trailer threw you off.
It did, so that one kind of screws up my thing.
You're never getting Hondo.
I know I'm never getting Hondo. I really hope
There's-
I get Obi-Wan cries,
Yeah.
because
You're
that
not
would
right.
that would make me cry.
There could be an Inquisitor helicopter move.
What does that even mean?
You know, like
Oh, that thing again.
the
Oh,
floating.
yeah. That's not happening in this show. This show takes itself way too seriously.
It is
Well,
more
sure.
rooted in realism. I don't know.
Except, yeah.
We didn't get to see Vader make his saber unless there's like a flashback. He already has it. But
Yeah.
that I was trying to manifest that.
I feel like that's one of those more like you'll get that kind of thing out of like a comic or like a
Yeah.
animated
Yeah.
skit or something.
Yeah.
More than you would for this. But yeah, we're all going to get Qui-Gon at some point.
I think Owen will get in a fight.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see much more of Owen Lars?
I certainly
Yeah.
hope so.
Because
we gotta see Aunt
because
Beru.
because he has to.
Wait, why? Why do we have to
She's
see
on my
her?
bingo card, man.
Again, we're playing fantasy football.
Well, we
with
have to
Obi-Wan.
see Owen at least like accept the gift that he later gives on
Yeah.
to Luke. So that's
I want to get some good farming action too. I didn't put that on my bingo card, but some good moisture evaporator farming.
Yeah.
I would like to learn the science of moisture farming.
The brokerage of the water dealing.
Haley commented, I wish I knew what you guys were looking at. Well, Haley, you can check out our Twitter and our Instagram, and we'll post them on there too. And maybe we will be advanced enough to be able to include that into our videos in the future.
That is a good mention. We should
is a
at
good
least
mention.
mention like, hey, look at these. We have at least tweeted them. If you're listening
Yeah.
along, check them out.
That is a good thing to mention. We do have a Twitter.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Yes. We're on a lot of things. And Amanda, for folks that want to, I like the comment, get on that, Brody.
Yeah.
Same.
People know what's up. The next comment, I don't have Twitter. Well,
Well, then I guess.
I guess we need to get on.
get on that.
What's the other one?
the other thing? You're on Instagram. Just get on Instagram. Hire a tech guy or gal.
Sure.
That's a good
I
idea.
would love anyone to volunteer for that role.
So I'd love to get some sponsors. So we have
Yeah, we have
What's
plenty
that?
of sponsor space.
credits. I like credits. You can buy things with credits.
A lot of sponsor spaces.
Yeah, all the good stuff. So all that stuff would be fun. And then we could have someone overlay like pictures, turn the cameras back on when they turn off,
Yeah, I
keep
know,
the lights
right?
on.
Whoops.
All the good stuff. Yeah, for all of the audio only people, they didn't notice that we our camera decided to just kind of turn off on us like halfway through this. But we got it back
Yeah.
like within 10 seconds. We have some masterful technicians over here, if I do
Yeah.
say so myself. But overall, this was a very fun episode to review. The best episode to review. And before we hang this episode up, I do want to mention what this does overall for the shows. So, only 3 episodes in, we may bring this down a lot. But for the Bad Batch's first season, it got a 64.5 or 0.05% from us.
Overall.
Overall. That's
And the-
16 episodes.
Yep, and the Book of Boba Fett got a 72.16% overall. So again, not great. And then you have Obi-Wan Kenobi. The only 3 episodes in, it's sitting at 80% overall as a show. So
I feel like that's accurate.
Yeah,
And
it's
when
not just hypeflation, people.
Now,
We
if
are
we
critically
want
looking
to, now
at these
this is
things.
going to change, but if we want to compare that to with all the movies and all rankings, that puts Obi-Wan Kenobi at number 6 where things stand right now, meaning the only things that are currently better are that number 5, A New Hope, 81%, number 4, Last Jedi, 81.87%, then Rogue One at 90.27%, Revenge of the Sith at 93.2%, and Empire Strikes Back 93.6%. So sitting in good company. It's beating out Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, Attack of the Clones, Book of Boba Fett, Solo, Episode 1, Bad Batch, and The Rise of Skywalker. So I feel like that's a very solid spot where it's sitting right now.
Yeah, at
Feels
this
good
point,
for it to sit there.
At this
Yeah.
point, it's cohesive. It's got a good
It's
pace.
moving along.
It's moving along. It's not really being that controversial at all in terms of
I mean, some
actual
people
Star
would beg
Wars
to
stuff.
disagree, but
yeah.
I also think that it's delivering in everything that I think the fans really wanted
I
to
think
see.
it's built a solid foundation for a
Mhm.
series that we would expect from a character like Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, be sure to jump back in next week as we break down episode 4, part 4 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And if you want a lot more Duel of the Ranks stuff in the meantime, Amanda, where can people go and find us?
Check us out at dueloftheranks.com. You can check out our shop and get some Duel of the Ranks merch. You can also submit your own hot takes and see our previous rankings. We also are on Instagram at Duel of the Ranks and Twitter, Duel of the Ranks. And we love to hear your feedback and
Oh, it looks like we
and
got a
your hot
comment
takes.
from the Pod Ones podcast.
Oh, yeah, next week.
Said,
Welcome.
we have to be sure, again, we mentioned this in our last episode, but we will be featuring one of the 2 hosts of the Pod Ones next week in Luke. It's going to be a lot of fun. He was just, again, if you didn't check out the last episode, he was at Star Wars Celebration and he cosplayed as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Top notch.
Yeah, I mean, and he was pulling it off. He was doing a great job, and heck, he sold me on going to Celebration in London next year.
Yeah.
So I think Amanda,
He's
maybe
going.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I was looking at it, but be a lot of fun to cross the pond. And I've never been to any sort of Comic-Con, even in the States.
Me
So
either. I've never been out of the
leave-
country. My
Gonna
fiance
start-
and I are big Premier League soccer fans too, and it's happening in the middle of the Premier League season. So just
gonna be
just
so fun.
tack it on, make it a big trip.
So fun. So fun. Well, I cannot wait to have Luke on next week and break down episode 4. I always feel bad. He loves Obi-Wan so much, and I feel like I'm always coming in like 81%. It's like, why? It's
I'm
so
excited to
great.
have him on. He's
He's
got
gonna be
that
great.
enthusiasm.
He's going to offer some really good debate for us because he's got a great perspective that I don't think any of us have too. Just it's going to be a lot of fun. So can't wait to have him on. Can't wait to talk up episode 4 of Obi-Wan, and can't wait to see you all next week. See you then.